Hey guys, it's Abby and welcome back to my channel. For today, I'm going to walk you through my journaling routine, especially during Sundays. So this is going to be a cozy video and I am really proud in making time to journal. Usually on Sunday mornings actually. It's been my routine for a couple of months now, and this video is in collaboration with Job of Job's Journal. Make sure to check out this video and I do hope you enjoy. So when it comes to journaling, I actually have two main journals. So first we're going to be taking out our materials for the first journal, which is more of like my personal journal slash brain dump notebook, I would say. I've been more in tune with myself thanks to being able to write more, and of course my Pilot Custom 823 pen has run out of ink. This is very rare because I actually have used this diligently. That's why there's no more ink, and this vac filler system stores a lot of ink actually. So I'm pretty happy that it's actually moving and I actually have been using it a lot because it's just really smooth to write on and really enjoy it. I feel like I'm such a writer when I have that pen and when I'm writing on my journal with this particular fountain pen. So excuse my inky fingers and let's get to writing. So one of my good friends, Coco, she gave me a candle just the other day, so I decided to light it to set the mood. It's the morning, but I just like to have a little cozy time, especially to start the day. And after a busy week, it's always so important to me to just have this ritual of doing something for myself. And it's also something that I've learned to appreciate because usually when I'm tired, I just don't do anything, or I just sleep, or I just mindlessly scroll on Instagram or watch Netflix. And while that is an ideal case, something about writing your thoughts on paper and processing things has always been useful for me. I use this hourglass from Hey to time my journaling or writing. So minimum of 15 minutes, but actually sometimes I would do 2 rounds depending on what I have to write. I was so strict before. I used to tell myself I have to write every single morning or every single night, a la morning pages. But I realized that that doesn't really work for me. So I just try to write what I can, maybe at least like 1 full page or 2 full pages. And it usually revolves around some of my thoughts or some things that happened and how I react to them. There are some things that I just don't like telling my friends, and it just feels nice to have a friend in this journal, I would say. The notebook I'm using is the Rhodia web notebook that my good friend Chingai gave me, and you probably might have seen it in a previous weekend vlog where I unboxed it. So this notebook has been really great. I admittedly am not a fan of lined notebooks, but this particular Rhodia notebook seemed to change my mind. It's just very smooth, and I find it so satisfying when I get to write on very smooth paper with a really smooth pen. So this is literally what dreams are made of, at least for me. And I realized that after doing this regular practice of writing my thoughts, it really helps me to process things even in a better light. And it also helps, sort of warm up my brain for some creative writing that I may do in the following days. Usually on weekends, I also try to update my creative journal, and I haven't been doing that diligently these past few weeks. So there's a lot to journal about, and a lot of things have happened. I am using the Diarist Journal, which is a journal that I created. And first, let's have some tea. So this is one of my favorite tea brands. I don't think I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's 𝚑𝚘𝚒𝚑𝚑. It's a Japanese tea brand, and this milk caramel tea is actually one of my favorite flavors. It just so happened that the color is also a nice brown color, very cozy vibes. So let's have some tea first before continuing on updating the creative journal part. Would I call it creative journal? I would say it's a creative journal because I do a lot of creative exercises that does not involve just writing, but also collage and a bit of illustration and a bit of like, I'd like to think of it as designing my own magazine inside my journal. That's how I kind of treat my journaling system in some way, and I have been super happy so far with using the diarist, obviously because it's my product, but also the experience of using it has been quite great. I have been journaling here since September, so there have been like almost 1 month and a half of content, but it's not day-to-day activities. It's a mix actually of different prompts that are contained in the first part of the diarist, as well as some life updates, some media stuff. I've yet to do a Taylor Swift page. I've also yet to write a couple of news that have happened to me lately, and here are a couple of pages that I've been working on. I've tried to experiment really also on doing more layouts with negative space. I feel like that's also something I want to exercise because I used to journal extensively, like I was a maximalist, and now I kind of want to get into this more clean cut, like letting pages breathe and not being so particular about filling up a full page through and through. So yeah, a little backstory on the left page. As you can see, there's like this I'm a Next Up creator graphic over there. So I'm a finalist for the YouTube Next Up 2021 contest here in the Philippines, which is great news. You've probably seen it also on my banner, but I've been in the middle of learning new things and new skills at a YouTube creator camp exclusively in partnership with YouTube Philippines and Smart, so that's been really great. Now, apart from that, on the right hand side, we are actually working on this thing called work sprints or virtual office in the Always Recreating Art Club, which is our Patreon, and it's been really fun. Although this past week we didn't have stable internet, so we weren't able to implement as much sprints as we wanted to, but we have been using this as a way to sort of have virtual office mates, and I super appreciate that because I don't know about you guys, but I realize that I can actually be pretty lonely even if I'm super used to being an introvert and being in my own company. It's one of those things that I've realized in the course of this panini. Like lately, I would really prefer to be with people or talk to people and really get sociable in some way because it's something that helps me stay sane and really helps me also with work. It's nice to have someone to talk to, and so I've been really enjoying it, and I think that also is true with the YouTube Next Up contest because we have like fellow YouTubers. So I'm one of the 12 finalists, and it's nice to have a couple of YouTube friends, as we like to call it. So after the work sprints, this page or spread rather, I've actually started sticking stuff. This is actually an A4 sticker sheet where I did like a layout on Photoshop and printed everything. So usually I do that and then print it in the office and then go home and cut everything accordingly. This is my little routine that I've probably gotten used to. Sometimes I would even use A6 sticker sheets depending if I have to print a lot of things, because I realize it's more efficient for me to just bring home smaller sheets of paper. But since I've been long overdue for a lot of journaling, I decided to just print it on an A4. So for this spread, I wanted to highlight the fact that I finally finished my book. I can't tell you more about it yet until maybe early next year, but it's a book on travel journaling, and that's very exciting. You guys know that I love travel journaling, and I'm so excited to be able to work on a book that highlights travel journaling and how you can all try it for yourself. So on the right hand side, you have very glam pictures of me. So my friend Cherry took photos of me for the book, and it just felt nice to have like official author photos. I haven't had that in years, and I'm going to be using more of autumn and warm colored theme stationery for this. As you know, it is still autumn season, and this is me talking as if we have autumn. We don't have autumn here in the Philippines, but I always like celebrating autumn because I used to live abroad during those times, and I really like the whole idea of fall. The color scheme is directly right up my alley with all the warm tones, and I just wanted to play around with that. And so, as I mentioned earlier, I no longer over decorate my journal spreads. It's something that I guess I'm learning as I get older and the more I do journaling. And I think it's also a shift because I used to journal using A6 for the longest time. I think since last year, it's been a mix. Oh no, last year I was using A5. But this year, I've been using A6 and then I went back to A5 with the diarist. And since the diarist for me is not as durable, I would say, as a 𝚑𝚘𝚒𝚗, I don't really want to overdo like putting too much collage stuff on each page. And this washi tape, by the way, is the autumn washi tape. This is a washi tape that I designed for the shop, and it's actually available at the shop already. So I really like it, and I've liked that it's very timeless because I think only like a part of it is features autumn leaves, but the rest is totally useful for any time of the year. And I really think about those things when it comes to designing products because I know that seasonal tapes, I mean, I do have like seasonal like holiday stuff, but I just like to be able to use most of my stationery all year round. And then these stickers are from Aliana 𝚑𝚑𝚒𝚗. I really love her illustration style. I've probably mentioned this several times in my channel. This folder is my junk folder, which contains a multitude of treasures. And I like browsing through here, and I purposely don't organize this. I just put them all, shove it all in this folder because I never know what I find when I actually check out this folder. And I think that's something that I've learned to also think about when it comes to organizing stationery. I can be super organized, but I don't want to overdo it. I think that's been my life principle since I've started to be more aware of my personality and my preferences. So on the left hand side, I'm just doing a little update on my book, which I've mentioned earlier. I just finished it last November 12th, but right now we are doing rounds of edits. And fun fact, this book is probably my third book with my US publisher, and I'm very, very excited. And yes, it will be available internationally. And I know you guys always ask that, and I'm so, so excited to share more about it soon. On another note, the ink that I'm using here is a locally made ink. It's called Vinta, and the shade is called Ochre or Fortaleza. I requested it from my good friend Steph. She was like, what ink do you want for Christmas? I'll get you something. And I was like, okay, this ink is actually a rare gem. I don't see it around social media a lot. And when I saw one blog post showing the swatches, I was like, wait, this is an ink color that I really, really like. And then to seal off the page, do you say seal? I'm just putting in this clear stamp that says currently. This is one of my favorite stamp sets from Everyday Explorers Co. I use it a lot for very dailies kind of entries. And so let's move on to the next page. So last November 12th, Red Taylor's version came out, and it was also very funny because a lot of things happened to me on November 12th, which involved my book deadline, and we had a little private event also for the YouTube thing. So we're gonna talk about the Taylor Swift thing here, of course. So I think this is my second time doing a Taylor Swift spread on the diarist. The previous one was Folklore. Believe it or not, I actually just listened to Folklore very late, maybe a few months after it came out, and it was really good. And so Taylor's version did not come at a better time, of course, November 12th. And I actually started listening to some of the songs already. I admittedly have not finished. I don't know what's with me. I just feel like Taylor Swift's songs have to be listened in increments, at least in my case. So I've listened to some, and I got the goosebumps because Red is one of my favorite albums. I've been a fan of Taylor Swift since Teardrops on My Guitar. I was in 6th grade, but I think I was already in college when Red came out, and it was one of my favorite albums. There was a lot of different songs and a lot of different moods. My personal favorite is actually State of Grace. So when I first listened to that last November 12th, I had like severe goosebumps. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, it was a whole like, I don't know, when you listen to something, when you listen to a song and you just feel this, like, I cannot explain this serotonin level, but I do listen and I do experience that when I listen to Taylor Swift or songs that I really, really like or discover for the first time, and you feel this like instant connection. Of course, in Taylor Swift's case, it's not the first time, but listening to it, it has a different sound, and I really like it. An underrated favorite I wanted to share is the song called Babe. It's a collab with Sugarland, and she actually performed it in the Reputation tour. That's when I discovered that song, and ever since I love that song, and she made a Taylor's version, which I really liked as well. So back to the journal spread. I am using my Pilot Custom 83 pen here as well, and I forgot to mention earlier that this is inked with the Tsukushi color, which is like a, I thought it was like chocolate brown, and then I thought it was like a burgundy brown, but on camera it looks like a generic dark brown. So I would just try to summarize it and say it's kind of like a warm reddish brown, but it's not very reddish, it's very subtle. So I really like it because it's not as dark as the Yamaguri. So Tsukushi is actually going to be phased out already by Pilot, which makes me really sad because it's one of my favorite inks. But I think I am looking for a dupe that could somehow replace it for now. I have found like some sailors that would be at par with the colors that you can see here on this page. So these are some of the spreads that I worked on today. I do hope you were able to pick up some insights and ideas, and I really miss doing a lot of these journaling routine videos, but usually it takes up a whole morning, and I really enjoy it because it's my way of really unwinding and getting creative. And by the way, these washis are available at my shop. Make sure you check them out at the link in bio to purchase them. And of course, it is cleaning time. I always like to clean because after getting messy with all my journaling tools, no one else is going to clean it except for me. So that's something I try to do it as a part of my routine. That way, if I have to do something else in the afternoon, maybe read a book, do some drawing, or just nap, I wake up and see my desk is very neat. I try to keep it that way, maybe like 80% neat. I'm not the most organized person, but I try to make sure that there is enough space for me to write or do something else. And of course, make sure to check out Job's video. I am looking forward to see what Job did with his journals. I super love his style, and I like that we both love the same colors, which was why we decided to collaborate also in the first place. And check out these videos for more ideas and inspiration for your creative journaling needs. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!